Is there any update on the autopen?
Yeah, it's just gotten worse from their standpoint. The people that used it, and in particular one person, was never told by Biden to do it. Only spoke to Biden twice, and that was just talking about the weather, not talking about any order. And he was taking orders from people other than Joe Biden. Joe Biden wasn't giving those orders. And it was totally illegal what he did. And I hope it's going to be so adjudged.
That was President Trump earlier today over in the UK answering a question about the autopen scandal. And this afternoon, you have Biden ex-Chief of Staff Jeff Zients arriving to Capitol Hill for the House Oversight Committee's final expected interview in the Biden autopen probe. For about the last 4 months, House Oversight has been testing whether any Biden-era pardons could be unwound by exploring the use of the autopen, right? So Chairman James Comer says newly obtained records raised internal concerns about autopen use. He told CBS some pardons could be undone, putting signature versus intent on a collision course. He was on the show just a couple days ago saying the same thing. The inquiry is in its final stage, mapping staff emails, sign-off chains, and autopen records to tie it to specific acts, with scrutiny extending beyond pardons. Former Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has already sat down for questioning in the probe, a sign that investigators are pressing on both the mechanics and the messaging around Biden's decisions. There is precedent worth noting. A Justice Department legal opinion has long allowed presidents to use autopen for signing bills into law, so long as the decision itself came from the president. That opinion did not address pardons directly, but it frames how signature mechanics have been treated. The unresolved question is accountability. If approvals were poorly documented, who carries responsibility? And what remedy exists if courts are reluctant to unsettle clemency already granted? We're now joined by a member of the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability, Texas Congressman Michael Cloud. Congressman, thank you for joining us. What do you expect out of this final interview?
Well, it'll be interesting for sure to get the inside look at what was going on in the White House, because the big question for Americans for months on end was who's really running the show over there, so to speak, and especially when it comes to the Chief of Staff, because we, in a sense, have a smoking gun of an email that came from his account saying that he approved the Biden pardons or the use of the autopen for them. But even that email wasn't even sent by him. It was sent by his assistant. And so, you know, what else is there to tell of the story? These are the things that we'll be finding out. And all this eventually will lead to some hearings. And we've got to crack down on this, because really the big question, of course, is were those clemencies legal? Were some of the preemptive pardons even legal? And that'll have a big effect as we go forward and continue some investigations.
Does it go beyond pardons and clemency? I mean, there were other acts exercised by Joe Biden that the public have questioned. What about his executive orders or anything else that he may have signed with autopen? Are those in question in these proceedings?
Sure. You know, everything that he was doing that was done by autopen, the question is who was really running the show? Were they executing on the president's authority or not? You know, nobody elected the assistant to a chief of staff to do any sort of thing or to prove any sort of thing. Certainly without it, you know, it was notable that the email didn't say the president authorizes the use of. It said I authorize the use of. And so this is very troubling. And if that kind of trend was happening on other executive orders, for example, you know, this would be a problem. And this is important because, you know, for example, we had Fauci that was given this broad-based pardon. And then we have even House members of the January 6th committee. We know that they burned evidence, that they, you know, whatever reason, they destroyed evidence, yet they received a preemptive pardon. So if that's void, then they could be open to criminal prosecution as well, you know, as we dig into this investigation. So this will have some ripple effects that could be lasting.
How would you go about the next steps at this point? I think that's the question on most Americans' minds as they're watching this with a lot of curiosity. Clearly, things were afoot. But actually happens, in all reality, you have Democrats who are going to probably resist all Republican efforts to annul any of these pardons. Do you see these pardons actually becoming legitimately in question, as President Trump alluded this morning in the UK?
The next steps would probably be something along the lines of public hearing. The public certainly needs to know, if there's going to be legal action going forward, whether that be legislative or whether that be judicial action.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.